Hello, welcome back to the Joy Fueled Resilient Woman podcast. I'm Dr. Phyllis, your host, and today is episode 58. I want to talk to you today about permission to choose heart people over hurt people. Now, I'm going to let that sink in just a little bit. Permission to choose heart people over hurt people. Now, let's unpack that. As you are being still and you are allowing God to talk to you, to let you know that He wants you to take the next step in your personal growth, to take your next step from going from letting your life live you to you living your life. As God is telling you, it's time for you to begin investing in who He has created you to be, in addition to how He has created you to care and serve others. In the midst of that, I want you to look at who you are surrounding yourself with. Because, excuse me, as you begin to take the next step, not only will your own little inner voice begin to make you question what you're hearing from God or make you question stepping into a new season and tapping back into new goals or reconnecting with some goals that you had put on the shelf before life just got going. It is going to be very critical, sis, that you choose wisely who you surround yourself with. We talked some about this in last week's episodes about boundaries. And you will hear me continually say you have to give yourself permission. You have to know that it's now time to take back your power and that you have power to choose. You have the power to get off that treadmill, to get off that hamster wheel. You have the power to infuse joy in the midst of all you're doing. Because when you infuse joy, when you reconnect with joy, when you create joy in your life, it allows you to do the things, care for those, serve those who God has created you, has wired you to be a gift to, right? But by doing that, it also allows you to be the best that you can be, to welcome the day, even in the midst of the storm, and to live life with the least amount of regret that you can. So, when you embark on a new season to change, to do things differently, not everyone is going to get where you're coming from. Some will get there with time. Some you just may have to keep at arm's length, and some just may not be able to go with you in this next season. And while we tell young people this all the time, right? It can be very difficult as women, as we are in our 40s, our 50s, our 60s, and older, to understand that the rules still apply. Even now, you have to make a choice on who can go with you in this new season. So, I want to first talk about the permission to go through your closest circle, go through who you're telling your secrets and who you're letting know that you're embarking on this next season. I want you to be very careful with that. And I don't want you to be surprised that everybody may not get it. And sometimes people they just may not be as supportive now in this new season as they were before. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. People who have reached a point in life, maybe they're tired, they had it, they don't have any more goals. It doesn't always mean that they're bad people. I'm not saying that. And they just don't have any other aspirations. And the issue becomes not because they don't have other aspirations, is the reason I categorize them as hurt people is they don't have any other aspirations, or they just don't have the courage or the vision to do something new. So what do? They don't want you to do it. They're going to give you all the reasons why you can't. They're going to give you all the reasons why go back to school. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s and your 60s. You're in your 70s. Why go back to school? Why go back and write that book? Why start a business? Why start cycling? Why start dancing? Why start painting? Why start writing poetry? Why start taking up that instrument and taking music lessons? They don't want to do it. And as the old folks used to say, misery loves company. They don't want to see you do it, because then it shines a light on them, and then they feel bad that they're not doing. And you have to just love them, pray for them, and put them over to the side, because they are going to hold you back. And if you're not careful, especially when you're in your beginning stages of stepping out into this next season, you would rather be comfortable. So you'll stay with those friends because they convince you, until you get to a point where you're like, you cannot ignore anymore what the Holy Spirit's telling you, that God is telling you and He's calling you to do something else. So you have to look at that. When you're any of my Spider-Man fans out there, when your spider sense is going off, when the Holy Spirit is telling you, you're getting negative vibes, again, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they are either happy where they're at, or they just don't have they're not wired that way like you are to do something different. So as I said, you love them and you put them in their proper place. Now, you may still be able to hang out with them or enjoy those things you have in common, or you might just kind of have to put that relationship on pause. And it can get real hard if it's family. But there's a way to work around that as well. And that can be the same thing, not only in our personal relationships, but even at work. You can't tell everybody your business. And it may be you're trying to do something different at the job, the work that you're at, the company that you're at. You're venturing out to do something different. And then sometimes you have people who get intimidated by your light. They get intimidated by who you are, the fact you light up a room when you come in, that the Holy Spirit is just pouring and overflowing out of you, and they want to be the smartest person in the room, and they will find ways to pick at you. You got to put them in the category where you just have to leave them over there and don't dim your light and negate yourself. So those are hurt people, stagnant people, people who just want to stay where they're at, hurt people. But what happens when you choose heart people? Just like you were created with a big heart who is concerned about others. You care. You want to be helpful. You will go the extra mile for people. If someone tells you that they need you, now you'll do everything. You'll climb what the tallest buildings, right? You will cross fire to take care of them and do what you need to do for them. But it can be difficult for you to show that towards yourself. And that's why you have to surround yourself with heart people that are similar to you. It's important that even as an adult, you create a community. One of the reasons that I have been so committed to women's ministry is I just remember growing up so many women, and there was a time I had to go back and reconnect with it because, to be honest, I had been hurt by some women along the way in my academic training. I've been nurtured by many, but I've been hurt by some, hurt in the workplace. But I had to reconnect and create a community of women who were heart people like me. And again, back to when I was growing up, my mom, my aunts, I call them in a different way, my second moms in the community. They were that support system who told me I could do anything that I put my mind to. And I remember on so many occasions sitting around a table, be it mostly would be on a Saturday morning, several of my mom's closest friends, they would get together at somebody's house while us kids were running around, and they would have their coffee, there'd be food, and they would sit down and be a support to each other and encourage each other and push each other. And it carried over to when my mom and I, some of our best memories together was around coffee and some food. And it has just been an ongoing passion of mine to create that type of atmosphere for other women where we can come together and support each other. And so that's why I encourage you so much to find and to choose other women with big hearts. They're heart people. They're heart people. They are heart people who will support you. They will pour into you. They don't think your dreams are silly or you're silly. They'll listen to you. They'll listen to you when life gets rough and all you need is someone just to vent. You just need someone to validate your feelings. Cuz most of the time we just need to say it out loud. We don't necessarily need someone to give us the answer. We just need someone to listen to us to validate our feelings. And I want you today to give yourself permission to create your community of heart people. I want you to choose heart people over hurt people as you embark on this new season. Because I love you and I see you. So this week, I want you to look at your relationships, to look at your circle. Who is pouring into you? Hurt people or heart people? I would love to hear how you're growing. I would love to hear how this podcast is helping and pouring into you. Because as I said just a few minutes ago, I see you, sis. And I love you. You got this. And I look forward to seeing you next week on the Joy Fueled Resilient Woman podcast. Have a blessed week. Bye-bye now.